Okay, it's May 8th, a little later in the morning, almost 10 o'clock. I thought I'd make one more video here. If you are taking notes, then what I'm going to do is just show you these two trades, how they're developing, and then I'm going to flip through all the different stocks I have on my watch list real quickly and relative to, that comprehensive video I sent, just see what's happening today on all of them. I haven't even checked them all yet, so I'll be kind of doing it raw as I video this. But anyway, NVIDIA, you can see here, this is the 15-minute chart today, and I bought it early in the session, as I told you, and now, we've gone up 1, 2, 3, 4. This is going to be the fifth bar higher, and I'm trying to sell. I've already scaled out, so it's a no-risk trade. And if you look here on the 1-minute chart, what I like to do sometimes, just for your I like to draw a 45-degree channel heading higher, and then I kind of see how many pushes up I can get, and then maybe take profits into the third push up. Of course, if this is really going to be one of those strong days that just continues up all day, it's just going to consolidate in here somewhere for maybe an hour and then push higher again. I kind of have things I'd like to do today outside, so I just kind of want to get out of here. I'm hoping I could just get an early push up early, take my profits. Even if it's going to go to 315, 317, I don't care. I'm trying to get out now. In other words, I drew my channel here. That's what's forming. Sometimes these things change throughout the day. You got to kind of, watch how price action goes. Maybe I have to adjust the angle of the channels. And yeah, I can see this one now, the way it's breaking down a little bit. It looks like, in other words, what I was trying to do here, I've already scaled out. Then I was trying to make one push up past these highs and sell at the midpoint of this channel as opposed to the top. It's a type of angle that you want to look at the midpoint. It's a little too steep to get up there necessarily on the next push. So I'm trying to sell here at 313.50, my final position, and we'll see if we get there. If the angle of the channel has to change, I'll come back. I might have to draw it something more like this, depending how price act. This is 1 minute, so again, it's a little volatile. And then you can see here that now breaks above the high, this 15-minute bar, makes one push up to the top of the channel. So it's still about 313.50 relative to this angle. And Netflix, that one here, I've already scaled out 4 points higher. Now I'm trying to make, what I was trying to do is one push, two push. I was hoping right here I can get that third push higher. I'm trying to get out of 442.50 on this final push. Again, I still anticipate this stock kind of consolidating here and breaking this high one more time, which is 442 even. And it probably, if it does that, if it consolidates for a while, it might push up higher, like to 443, 444. But I'm just going to try to exit into a new high at some point on the final position. I'll let it consolidate in here. That's what price normally does. Like I was telling you on the comprehensive video, look, if this is going to go up all day, it could just pause and maybe just keep heading higher, higher, higher. But if it just makes a normal pullback, it'll typically make one more attempt towards these highs. So I'll just hang in there and see if I can get the exit a little later on in the session. Again, no risk if it heads lower, because you never know what will happen, but it looks good so far. So anyway, that's that. And then I figure real quickly here, I'm going to go through all these different charts. Like Apple, for example, just look at relative to the midpoint of yesterday. I'll turn this into this is the 15-minute chart. This is the 1-minute chart. I'll turn this into a daily bar on the right. And you can see here, Apple, just to show you the daily and the 15, what's happening on each stock. So here, Green Day yesterday started above the midpoint. We came down, the first 15-minute bar, it didn't break up like those, Netflix and NVIDIA came down and then curled higher. There's your buy. It already broke the intraday high, so you make money there. And then, again, you shouldn't lose anything, and you watch 15-minute price action. I'm going to go quickly. I have a whole bunch of different stocks on the list. This is Abbott Labs. Again, this is an interesting thing because midpoint yesterday we're holding, but we broke down early on the 15-minute bar, and we're curling up, not above. See, this is where the close comes into play. I'm glad this is there because I wanted to see this pullback to come stay above the close and the 15-minute before it curled higher and buy. So this is a buy kind of on the day in the sense that it's curling up with a green bar here at the midpoint where you expect support. But because of this opening and everything else below the close, I only anticipate it really heading up maybe to the close and kind of eating into this red bar. I don't really see this breaking the intraday high like the others. In other words, it's not the type of opening strength that as it came down early and then curled back up, it looks like it wants to then continue higher and form a green day on the day. This 15-minute bar is too weak, came down below yesterday's close. So Abbott, if it does curl up, I just kind of anticipate it kind of maybe open, just reaching somewhere to the top of this range intraday, but I don't really like the looks of it, even though it's holding the midpoint here, but it's not the type of buy I enjoy. And again, I know you follow that one a little closely. It tried to break up above this resistance, and now it came down below. So you can see here too, the last 2 days, this was resistance that it was trying to follow through it. It couldn't. So until it really gets back above the close, I don't really like that one for a trade today, but we'll see what happens and how this bar closes by the end of the day. And then quickly, just look, well, this is a stock I'm in on a swing trade. Once it went up, I bought it down here, and I'm just watching it. But in terms of the day, this is, again, a day where it opened up near the highs, came down below yesterday's close and below the midpoint, so I don't like any kind of trade here. Hopefully it'll just consolidate in this area, and for my swing trade, head higher, but not today. Amazon, good looking trade here. Again, kind of opened up higher, came down to the midpoint, and curled up above. The 15-minute curl up was above yesterday's close and above it stayed above the midpoint of yesterday. So that would be a good buy. And Amazon got above the intraday high and yesterday's high, and that's an opportunity for, some kind of profit taking. APA is Apache Oil above the midpoint of yesterday. You can see here the first bar went up, but then it consolidated. Once it consolidates, I like to see the breakout higher. It didn't get there. So now we're just curling lower, holding above the midpoint, holding above yesterday's close. So if we can get and we tested the low, the intraday low, which I like, and then if they can get a green bar and head higher, that could be a buy. But if it's going to happen too late in the session, like I said, the highs and lows normally happen early in the session. So this could be the high of the day, the way I'm seeing it. It's very, we'd have to get the low right in here, a 15-minute bar green, and then buy and see if we can break that high. And that would be the low of the day, kind of happening. That's 7 bars in, which typically doesn't happen. So that's why I don't love buying this curl higher, but it could be a quick trade you could take, see if it follows through immediately. If not, get right out. That's kind of good in today's world. With no commissions, you can kind of instantly get in and out. But anyway, it's curling up higher. The question is would that be the low of the day if you get a green bar and 7 bars into the session? Probably not. And anyway, let me just go for a couple of the bigger stock names that I have. Boeing, you can see here, again, above the midpoint of yesterday, 15-minute bar started higher. The gap higher, I typically don't love to buy momentum, trades early because it gapped up. It could definitely pull back. So I look for these pullbacks. I would have liked to have seen the gap up, come down, and then, to kind of test this high area and the yesterday's close and then curl up. That would have been the buy. So the way it just kind of consolidated in here, and then if it would have consolidated for a few bars, gapped up, and then it just wasn't going to sell off, I could have bought that a little later. That's what I like on those gaps. But on the gaps, I prefer it to come down and then curl up. This one, pause, and heading down. So again, kind of not a great start to Boeing. But it's curling up here in the 15-minute chart. Again, you could try that as the buy if it does. And once it makes a new 15-minute high, see if it takes out that intraday high and have a very tight stop at the low. And this would have to be the low of the day happening early in the session. We'll see how it closes. So anyway, BABA, you can see this would have been a great 15-minute buy and go. Let's see on the 5, and I'll end the video here. 5-minute chart, what happened here? Well, this would have been the 5-minute double consolidation and then the breakout here on bar number 3, anticipating that 15-minute bar being green, and then watching the next few 15-minute bars. So this would have been similar to the trade I made on NVIDIA today, where you had two 5-minute bars consolidating. You're excited to buy because of the breakout, and then you watch the 15-minute price action. So that's another final video. Like I said, I want to get out of my 2 trades, and I have things I want to do today, and that'll be it. If you want to ask me any questions or if you're interested in any of this stuff into next week, feel free to do so. I just had fun doing this. And again, I was kind of curious why you asked about Clovis. Let me look at that one real quickly. See what it's doing here. Yeah, very nice. I mean, I like the price action, like I said, in the bigger picture. I remember on the daily chart that came down and made that new high at 750. That was a good buy. And then you're watching it. You see, if I was swing trading this one, if you don't want to day trade it and you're just looking for a good swing trade, this was it. And like I said, it hit 950 that day, came down. But it's still, if you look at I want it to be in this up channel. I like 1 or 2 red pullbacks at the most before it continues higher. My targets are up here at, like I said, 11, 10 or so. I thought it was 1150 was that, those highs, and then the top of the declining trend line that it might target if it could break through this little 10 area. But, you know, as you got in here 750, if you wanted to swing trade this and watch it day to day, I'm just watching for red bars to make new lows. And if they don't, then you just keep following it up and up and up. You allow maybe one red pullback, maybe two at the most if it stays in the channel, and then keep following the green and try to exit into strength at your target. So that's kind of what Clovis is. But I'm curious why that drew your attention the other day. It was on this day where it went up big, and then it still closed above the midpoint of the prior day, but it closed red. But then the next day we this is interesting, you know, on my video of comprehensive, we came down yesterday in the 15-minute chart right where you would expect support, the lows of yesterday, and then curled up with the green bar, and that was the buy near support down here on a, you know, if you're going to day trade it, had a very tight stop, and you can see here it came all the way up, closed nicely. Today is a good follow-through day above the midpoint of yesterday, heading higher green, and there could have been an early, let's say on the 5-minute chart, Clovis. Yeah, again, this is very similar to those other stocks where you had 2 5-minute overlapping bars, green, and then you buy that breakout right there. So now we're kind of watching Clovis. And again, you watch these things, once they head up a little bit, you don't have to lose. That's the beauty of stock trading compared to other types of trading. So anyway, that's it. Big video here one more time. Sorry for all these, but I just thought you might, you know, be having a casual Friday and you want to watch one more of these. So I'll send it now.